Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first vlog, first video that I'm making, and I kind of just wanted to talk about a little bit about my story, a little bit about If It Fits Your Macros, and a little bit about intuitive eating. So I'm going to start with my story. When I was 22 years old, I moved to Florida from Memphis, Tennessee. Right before I moved to Florida, I had just become a personal trainer. I was training at a gym in Memphis where I was basically the only trainer, which was good and bad at the same time, which I will get to. So then when I moved to Florida, I was surrounded by so many more trainers and so many more people who are into health and fitness, which was great. But at the same time, it was a little bit overwhelming. I was doing If It Fits Your Macros. If you guys don't know what that is, it is where you are tracking the number of fat, protein, and carbs you are intaking every single day, and you are tracking the amount of grams you are intaking daily. So that's what I was doing for about a year and a half, and when I moved here, I was doing that. But when I moved here, like I said, there were so many people who are involved in health and fitness, and everybody wants to tell you how to eat. Everybody wants to tell you how to train. And, it kind of got to my head for a little bit, and then when people found out how many carbs I was eating and how much fat basically how much everything I was eating, they were like, oh my god, I can't believe you're eating that much, and you're not doing that much cardio, like, oh my god. And so it got to my head, and I started doing all this cardio. I lowered my fat intake, I lowered my carbs, and I stopped, instead of listening to my own body, I was listening to other people, which then messed up my own body. So, and my mentality, my physical health and my mentality definitely suffered from doing If It Fits Your Macros. I'm not saying it's bad for every single person, just like some people can keep a whole bag of cookies in their pantry and eat one cookie and not touch it for the rest of the week. And then some people, eat that whole bag of cookies in one sitting. It just really depends on who you are. But this is my story, and I'm going to tell you what happened to me. So when I was doing If It Fits Your Macros, like I said, I lowered my fat, I lowered my carbs, and I upped my protein. Started doing all this cardio because I was listening to other people. And, it really ended up messing with, like I said, my mentality and my physical health. It got to the point where I was so obsessed with counting my macros that it gave me anxiety, social anxiety. If there was food around, if I went out to eat with my friends and family and there was food around, if I didn't know the macros, I would literally get anxious. It would cause me anxiety. I wouldn't eat the food, or sometimes I just wouldn't go out, and because I didn't want to feel that way. And the thing is, I didn't have to feel that way. It was all in my head because I was so obsessed with If It Fits Your Macros. And I think If It Fits Your Macros can be good for some people. Like I said, it just really depends on who you are. For some people, it gives them a structure and they don't become obsessed with it. But for me, I became obsessed with it in an unhealthy way. I don't think it's healthy to become obsessed with anything, but especially, dieting and the way you eat. So basically I was eating to hit a certain number of fat, protein, and carbs every single day. I was not eating because I was hungry. I was eating because I thought I should be eating this number every single day. And the thing is, your activity level varies every single day, especially being a trainer. If you have a lot of clients one day, you're going to be on the floor on your feet all day. If you don't have a lot of clients, then you're going to be, probably not as active. And then it just really depends. So, like I said, I became obsessed. I was doing all this cardio because everybody was telling me I should do cardio. And like I said, I was listening to other people instead of listening to my own body. And it caused a lot of anxiety, and I didn't feel right. I physically started to feel drained all the time, and I was out of energy. I never had energy. I was sore all the time. I couldn't lift as heavy because I wasn't feeling my body properly. And I couldn't even recognize when I was hungry, like I said, because I was just eating to eat. I wasn't eating because I was hungry. And I kind of lost the sense of eating and nutrition, and it was very sad. It was very sad. It was not a good time in my life. And so eventually I got my blood work done because I felt like there was something wrong, and there was. And it was a relief, and it was sad at the same time. I was sad because I basically did this to myself, and it was a relief because I knew I had to change. I had to make a change in the way I was eating and my eating habits. So when I got my blood results back, my testosterone was at 23 and my cortisol was at 27. And as a woman, for a woman my age, your cortisol should be between 1 and 10, which is your stress hormone, and mine was at 27. And your testosterone should be at between 50 and 70, and I was at 23. So that was why I was not recovering. That was why I couldn't lift as heavy. That was why I had no energy, because my testosterone was so low and my cortisol was so high. So I changed. At that point, I was like, okay, I've got to change something. So I stopped doing If It Fits Your Macros, and I started eating just intuitively. I don't want to say that I had orthorexia, which is where you are obsessed. You have an eating disorder where you're obsessed with eating healthy food, but I definitely think I was obsessed with hitting a certain number of macros every single day. And once I made that change, I started to recognize when I was hungry again. I started to just pair fats, protein, and carbs together in my meals instead of counting them throughout the day and, you know, trying to get in what I missed at the end of the day, which is very unhealthy. At one point, I think I was eating like 2 Skinny Cow ice creams every day, back to back, every night, just to hit my carbs. And that is not healthy. I was basically an illusion of health, and that's not good for myself. That's not good for my clients. It's just not good. So, like I said, I changed to intuitive eating, which is basically where you just eat, you know, out of your intuition when you think you should eat, back to just the basics. I was pairing fats, protein, and carbs together, but I was not counting anything. I'm still not counting anything. But I do think If It Fits Your Macros can be good for some people. Just like, you know, like that cookie analogy. Like if you have a whole bag of cookies in your apartment and you don't want to eat them, but you can't control it and you eat the whole bag. And there's some people that can, you know, eat one cookie and not touch it for the rest of the week. It just really depends on who you are. But for me, it was not a good way of eating. So I changed it. And ever since I changed it, my cortisol is now at 9 and my testosterone is at 60. So I can lift more again. I'm recovering. I feel so much better. I physically feel better. I mentally feel better. And I definitely am glad that I made the change. And I think that a lot of people become obsessed with dieting and exercising in an unhealthy manner. And I just wanted to make this video to reach out to people who are suffering and who are questioning if they're the only ones or if you're alone, or what to do even, or how to like get back to normal, and, you know, recognize that you do have an issue and you need to fix it, and that there's so much more to life than food and counting your macros and, you know, having anxiety about if you ate enough or if you ate too much. So I just wanted to make this video, like I said, and, you know, if anybody has any questions or if anybody needs help or, you know, wants to come reach out to me, please feel free to email me at serenab21@gmail.com or request to make another video. I'm going to be making a lot more videos, so please hit subscribe. And thank you so much for watching and listening to my story. And please, if you are suffering from, you know, getting out of If It Fits Your Macros or anything to do with health and nutrition, just know that you're not alone, and you can always reach out to me or other people. There's so many people who are suffering just like you are. So just know that you're not alone, and please feel free to reach out. So thanks for watching.